It is 9/17 and the day is, hell, I don't know, it's Wednesday. I got a nice little pile here. Some of that is from last week on the far side. You could tell what's new. And then I got another pile over there. But this yard was covered in leaves. These sticks. A homeowner picked up all the sticks out of the yard and stacked them out here for me, so I didn't have to do it. That's a real nice. But Walker did good. Cleaned the yard right up. So I kind of just have you sitting on the dash for a minute. What is, today's the 18th. 18th already? What? I got something pretty cool planned for Halloween. You will see when that time comes. But anyway, you guys know I gotta have my coffee. Okay, you're gonna fall if I leave you there. I'm not even gonna put you in the mount. I'm gonna hold you there for a minute. So I used those bins a lot yesterday. Those black bins, if you watched the video the other day, dumping the Walker out into. Man, that's the way to go. I'm telling you, they worked phenomenal. It was just great. Very, very nice. So much easier. They just seem, even with the same amounts, they're just, I don't know, with the same grass, they seem so much lighter. Even with wet grass, it's nice. I'm definitely glad. And they dump out easier. That's one big thing. Those Walker bins, they don't dump out so easy. You got to flip them upside down, a good portion come out, and then you got to shake them and bang them up against the side of the bed to get all the stuff to come out, especially the one that sits on the left-hand side. It's shaped slightly different. But they work really, really well. So I took the other bins, they're sitting at home. The Walker bins I paid all that money for, they're sitting at home. I'm not even using them. So the Walker is fixed now. I mean, still is a little bit behind, but I didn't expect it to be perfect anyway. But it is 10 times better now that I fixed what I showed you in the end of, I believe, the last video. The shroud that goes around the front of the blower unit, where when you drop your deck down, the tube goes up into that shroud. It has 3 bolts that hold it in. The bottom one was missing, and there was like a 1/4 inch gap, about a half moon, the whole bottom half of it. So just like I thought, it's kind of like sucking out of a cracked straw. You know, you're not going to get everything you're trying to get. You're losing suction. So, and that's exactly what it was doing. So that's fixed, and that's working much better now. I have been rotating back and forth from the big hole screen to the small hole screen, depending on conditions. I definitely am going to buy the actual big hole screen instead of the one I just have holes drilled in. It's even more open. I think it'll work even better in the wet conditions. I might be buying a 52-inch GHS deck from my dealer. He has a couple used ones, really good shape. He's willing to sell me for a really good price, and he has one that's almost brand new, also willing to sell me for a really good price. So I'll probably just buy one of the used ones. If it's in good shape, then why spend all that money on the new one when it'll do the same thing? Especially since you guys know me, if it needs a little something here and there, I'll just fix it myself anyway. So we're going to talk more about the Walker today, because a lot of people have asked me, well, the Walker's so much slower than all the other mowers. Do you lose a lot of time? And, you know, does it put you behind this and that? So I definitely have opinions on that, and I'm going to share all of that with you. We're going to definitely get into that, because it was always a huge concern of mine as well. So we'll discuss that today.
Alright, so let's discuss the Walker. Well, we'll call it production. Am I really losing time just because I love running this mower? Is running a Walker with as slow as they are, or having to empty the hopper out is it really slowing me down throughout the day? These are things that I really wondered myself before I even bought a walker. I wanted to buy and run a walker for probably a year before I even bought one. I just had so many doubts. I had heard from everybody how slow they were. They didn't move that fast. Having to bag all the time could really slow you down. There was just so many variables. But to put it simply, there were just a lot of things I didn't know. A lot of information I had gotten and maybe wasn't, I don't know necessarily if it wasn't true, it just wasn't as accurate as it could be. There was some truth to it, and some of it was just far-fetched. The Walker isn't the fastest mower by any means. My Great Dane is faster, my Tiger Cat's faster. There's just a lot of faster mowers out there. Is it painstakingly slow? No, absolutely not. It does scoot along pretty quick. It just seems slower because I'm used to faster mowers. But it really isn't that slow at all. And you get used to it, but you can do an actual zero turn with it instead of a 3-point turn, unlike a regular zero turn. I mean, yeah, a regular zero turn is capable of doing it, but you can do it on a walker with a lot less chance of tearing up grass than a regular zero turn. I still don't do it as much just because I'm so used to 3-point turns, and that's just what I do. But you save a lot of time there. You definitely save a lot of time on trimming because you can get a lot closer to things. You save a lot of time on not having to plan it out better which way you're going to go and route which way you're going to take the mower because you're not getting any side discharge. So where it lacks in actual ground speed, it makes up for in a lot of other areas. Another misconception was that it would slow me down because I have to bag grass all the time. Well, that's not true. You can open up the back door and it will fan grass out pretty decent. Nowhere is near a side discharge mower, or if I had a side discharge deck on this walker, but it does fan grass out pretty good. I've done it many times where I haven't had to double cut or go back over with a blower to break it up, and it just looks good when you're done. So I'm not losing time there. So then it came down to, okay, well, what about when I am bagging? Am I really going to lose time on a property? So I've kind of tested it here and there just to see, am I losing time when I get done? Did it seem like it took longer? And a few of them really did. And I hadn't up until I started. I mean, I've had this walker all year this year. I've used it, a couple days here and there, but it was never a full-time mower. Now, I switch mowers up on my trailer all the time, depending on what I'm doing that day, what properties I have. But the walker is now the first one on the trailer all the time. It's my absolute favorite mower. I just love it. I absolutely love what it will do. But I finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, I really need to test this out. So I have a large property. Well, I mean, you guys see a lot of my properties. A lot of them are quite large. They're far from normal size yards. But I have one particular one that I was really curious about on Tuesdays, and I know exactly how long it takes me to mow that property, just the mowing portion of it, with my Tiger Cat or with the Great Dane. So yesterday I knew I had a little bit extra time, and yesterday was the day to do it. So I got the walker and I got ready to start mowing, and I set the stopwatch on my wristwatch. I set the stop timer, and I wanted to see how much time am I losing. Is it really going to be that much time with having to empty out the hopper? Well, that particular property, I have to double cut it every week. It's just the way it is. It doesn't even get fertilized, but it's just the way that it grows. I'm always double cutting that property every week. So, all in all, I know exactly how long it takes. So I mowed the property. I didn't look at my watch the whole time. I kept wanting to look at it to see kind of where I was at compared to how much I had left. And I didn't look at my watch the whole time. I waited till I was done and I hit the button. I looked down at my watch and I'm like, no way. There's no way. So I got back to the truck and I looked where I'd written the time down the week before on exactly how long it had taken me when I timed it. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's no way, that can't be. I was exactly 12 minutes faster than I was with the Great Dane. Now that Great Dane flies. That thing, it moves. And I mean, to the point where you're probably not cutting grass very well at the speed that it moves. That thing is just insanely fast. And even with sharp blades, if you're going full bore mowing with that thing, you're going to get stragglers. You're going to get areas that are not cut even because the mower's bouncing around, the deck's bouncing around. So even at the speed of that thing and double cutting it, I was done 12 minutes faster using the walker. And that was with having to empty the hopper out. So I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose any time. I was way off. It just seemed, because I was going so much slower in comparison while I was mowing, it just seemed like I was losing a lot of time. It seemed like I was behind the ball. It seemed like, oh my God, I should be done with this property by now. All in all, it just seemed like I was wasting time, and me wanting to be on this mower was costing me time. When all in all, it really wasn't. It didn't cost me any more time. Now, if you get on a property that you just cut once and you're out of there, and you're used to cruising right along on, you know, maybe you have a right stand or a Dixie chop or a Scag, whatever you're mowing with, and you're used to flying along, you know, if it's a property that you cut once and you're out of there, there's no double cutting, no nothing like that, then yeah, it is going to be a little bit slower and take a little bit longer on the walker. But in comparison, you're talking about a minute or two. You're talking, you know, on an average size property. Now, if you're mowing a monster property, you know, maybe you're going to lose a few minutes. But in that case, you should have the other decks in the walker. I mean, they don't just have the standard like everybody else, 36, 48, 52, 61. They have, you know, the 32, a 42, a 48, a 52, a 56, a 61, a 74. I mean, there's so many different size decks. And there's mulching decks, grass handling decks if you have the hopper like this one has, side discharge decks, rear discharge decks. There's just so many options. So am I trying to sell you a walker? No, I'm absolutely not. You can mow with whatever you want. But I looked for so much of this exact information before I got a walker, and I couldn't find it. I could find a million videos of people trying to sell me these walkers or trying to tell me how it's the best thing on the market, or, you know, this and that, but nobody could give me the detailed, specific answers to the questions I had. And one of the biggest ones was, am I losing time? Am I killing myself and costing myself money because of what this machine lacks? And I found out that it really lacks nothing. Where it lacks, it makes up for and does things that other mowers can't. And do I miss flying on my other mowers? I still have them and I still use them. And on some properties that don't matter, like abandoned properties that I mow for banks and stuff, I mean, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna just haul on it and knock it out and get it done. But, you know, for my everyday properties, you know, no way. I don't miss not flying anyway, because I mean, I know all kinds of people say, I gotta knock them out, bang these yards out, bang them out. Well, you know what? They look like shit. And I really didn't realize how bad they looked until I mowed the same exact properties with my walker that I've mowed with my other mowers. I decided to fly on, to bang them out, to knock them out and get them done. Well, I think those days are over for me. I'm sold on these walkers, and I'm buying a side discharge this winter, and it's gonna be my next mower of choice.